I'm sitting with the delightful, lovely Rene in the new reality of lockdown South Africa, where we're virtually connecting. But I mean, that's the way a lot of business is going. How are you doing today, Rene?
I'm awesome. Also, nice not to be going to work today, especially with this cold front that's
It's
on our front
dreadful this
door.
morning. Yeah. Did you run this morning?
And no, so
No.
that's a beauty of pregnancy. I don't have to go out if the wind is howling outside.
Well, I don't have that excuse. And I didn't go run either. So, okay, I've always been fascinated by your running career, but I'm a nosy Parker and I love to know the feelings and, because you just seem invincible and you seem like almost immortal. So, the questions that I ask are pretty much, yes, they're running focused, but I tend to go looking for the emotions and the things behind it. So basically, I know you've been running since you were a little girl, but and I know it's been very good to you, but you've had to reinvent yourself a few times. Was it a conscious decision to reinvent, or was it just a natural flow of your journey?
Like growing up, I really enjoyed athletics, especially watching it. I wasn't particularly good at it, but I envied the athletes sitting on the pavilion and watching them. And I really wanted to start running when I was in grade 1. But
Wow.
then the boy from next door said, Renatjie, jy gaan suffer. And being Afrikaans girl, I didn't really know what suffer meant, but it sounded really terrible. So I was too scared to try out running for at least 2 years. And it was only when I was back then standard 1, when the cross-country teacher basically forced the whole school to go and run cross-country the next day. So I went home and I told my parents, listen here, Juffrou Maggie said we must go and run cross-country. So back then even the parents listened to the teachers. So my brother and I, we went to run our first cross-country race without any training.
Wow.
And I wasn't a natural. I finished 42nd, but I absolutely loved it. My mom was so proud of us completing a 2K run. But she bought us each 1 liter Coke to reward us, because after running so far, you must be thirsty. And the next week I was back for more. So I'm not sure if it was for the cross country or the Coke, but basically that's how it started. And I think the secret to my success is that I wasn't a natural. I enjoyed the beauty of running. And at a very young age, I realized that through hard work, you get rewarded. So I always had small goals along the way, running for my first medal, running for a T-shirt, and even running for a teddy bear at a church bazaar. So I think that is still these small victories that keeps me going.
Yeah. So you're obviously very disciplined from a young girl, if you could, create this goal and start. So I mean, you have to be disciplined to reach your level of excellence in the sport.
I think it's also, I had a very good coach, Harry Kutsia, who was very disciplined, and he kind of forced it into us. And I think my parents also played a huge role. Like that, this mentality, if you start something, you need to commit and finish it. And also one thing, my mom never bribed us. It's not like if you achieve this, you get this, or if you do this, you get that. So there was never the promises, the reward. It's only once I can remember when she said that if I quit gymnastics, she'll buy me new running shoes. And nevertheless, I got new running shoes that afternoon.
That's fantastic. Now, your meals as a family must just talk running, or I mean, your sister runs, your husband runs, I think your brother-in-law runs, and you mentioned your brother. Does your brother also run?
No, my brother doesn't really run. I think he had a tough time growing up between running sisters.
I'm sure.
And also, the thing is, like, my dad never competed in any sport. So I think this was totally new to him, these two running daughters. So he was really very supportive. He used to drive us to Bethel, to Cape Town, to wherever to compete. But to be honest, I think he missed most of my races. because
Okay.
he went shopping at the local
Was it too
farmers
stressful?
market.
If I watch somebody that I know and love competing, I can't handle the stress. So I rather wait till I know the result. So was he maybe too stressed watching you guys compete?
Well, I think it's just something he didn't grow up with. So the
Okay.
beauty of that is he never interfered, he never pushed us. So I think that's why my sister and I are still running. So he was very supportive. In the years, he really learned a lot about the athletes, about the sport. And especially he played a role in the managing side with sponsors and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really grateful for that support of my parents. And yeah, my mom's also always been very sporty, so she loved taking us to practice and stuff, but also never interfered, and also always very supportive, buying new running shoes, taking us to the physios, and also to they also helped us to do our training when we were on holiday, and especially when we got more serious, we planned our holidays around
Wow.
destinations where we could be able to train, and where there's maybe a track and your road and stuff like that.
That's fantastic. And now I know your husband Andre is also he's a long distance runner. So what has been fascinating and intriguing to me is that you did the Olympics as like a relatively short distance, and then only 4 short years later, you were there doing a marathon. So how did you, was it part of the plan, or did you naturally just say, well, now I want to progress to longer distance? Or, because I mean, it's 4 years apart, but 3 years actually, because you had to qualify with the marathon distance in order to get to Olympics. And that boggles my, I mean, I'm back at like 5Ks. I'm going, I don't know how you did it at that level, you know. So was it part of your bigger plan, or was it just a progression?
Marathon was always like the backup, and it sounds very glamorous every year. Like ever since I was 17, 18, I spent between 3 months abroad competing in the European track season. So I just got it just got very stressful living for 3 months away from home outside of a suitcase, and you have to find your own accommodation and stuff like that. So normally I just squat with friends in London, and then I traveled from there. So I think yeah, I got a bit tired of that. And then I enjoyed the part of the marathon running, where you prepare for a race, you go and you race. And then I always planned a nice post-marathon holiday around that. So yeah, I think that was the reason from the switch, because I've done track for so many, basically more than a decade. I needed that change.
Okay. Did you because from the outside, like the back of the pack runner, it always looked like you elite athletes are the glamour. I mean, we're not the glamour, but you know, you make it look so effortless. Now we know as runners, they're certainly not, it's not effortless, and we know the hard work that it entails and stuff. But the personal sacrifice and stuff, there's no, have you ever had any kind of moments where you think, oh, I'm just going to give it all up, and like there's a resentment that you haven't gone a less pressurized route, or have you been able to be emotionally stable enough to know that this is your choice, this is what you want to do?
I'm really grateful for the opportunities that I had, and especially looking back, this Afrikaans kids, not really good at running, and wow, I went into Olympic Games. So it's just still mind blowing, and I'm just so grateful for the opportunities I had. And with
Yeah.
that, I also fell in love with travel, to travel the world. And basically, I had the opportunity to see the world on somebody else's account. So I
Yeah.
always put effort in, and like my agents, they also knew that I really love travel. So they always try to squeeze in a day or two for me to go and travel afterwards, or a longer layover on Hong Kong, because they knew I'll go into the city to explore. So it's
Yeah.
just a whole new world that opened up for me. And yeah, there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But if I have to choose all over, I wouldn't change anything. And I'm really
Fantastic.
grateful for all the amazing places that I was able to see, but also the amazing people that I've met along my journey. And it's really nice to still be able to be in contact with them, especially via Facebook and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And yeah, it's not every day that the 2008 Olympic marathon champion will like your photo, wish you a happy birthday and stuff like that. So I think that's what I treasure of this amazing journey, not necessarily the achievements, but the whole package.
Do you still get excited when you see like the records, like the recent 5,000 meters? Do you still get like that excitement about seeing? I mean, I'm not a fast runner, but seeing that gives me goosies. And because I think a lot of the way that you know, I remember years ago I used to work with golfers, and the media used to portray that there was this like complete intense rivalry, but also that, you know, the golfers wouldn't talk to each other. Now I know as runners, and I know you've probably made some really good friends with it, but when you see these other people doing such marvelous achievements, I mean, you are truly how can I say, happy for them, I'm sure.
Yes, and I was so excited for the Diamond League last Friday. And I think in my heart, I will always be a track runner. Like I still follow all these people on Instagram and stuff. For me, track and field is just such a beautiful event. So yeah, I got really excited. And even though on Friday nights, the streaming to watch the Diamond League was terrible. It was basically like listening to athletics on radio. But yeah, we sat and we listened and tried to figure out all the blurred athletes that was running around the track.
Has the pressure on yourself changed now with the social media? Because when you were a younger competitor, they didn't have all the, you know, the social media, and everybody's got an opinion. Has it put more pressure on you, or are you quite enjoying the interaction with like the regular folk?
Luckily, when I ran track and stuff, there wasn't really social media. But yeah, now I really enjoy interacting, especially with all the road runners out there, because we're basically all going through the same stuff. So I just love connecting with the people. And then at races where your virtual friends become reality, where they're like, oh, listen, yeah, I follow you on Facebook, and you actually, yeah, kind of know them already. So I really enjoy that part. But yeah, I think you also just have to use it positive. Social media is not there to wash your dirty laundry or anything. So I just try to see the positive on it. And for me, it's a way of interacting with other people. Like growing up, never in my wildest dreams would I imagine to be in contact with Ilana and Zola and stuff like that. And now I'm very happy to call them my friends, not only Facebook friends and stuff, but I know I can dial anytime for their advice. And yeah, that's really something that I treasure. And growing up, I had both of their signatures. So it's definitely a whole new world that you can interact with fans and also interact with your heroes.
Exactly. And I think what's probably nice is that you've extended the friendship, whereas before the social media, you wouldn't have been able to stay friends with these people because it was just logistically. So, oh, wow, fantastic.
Now, it's like when I ran, I grew up where we, especially running overseas, you'll like swap addresses, so with pen pals, and then normally I was the bad one communicating back.
Okay, well, I don't believe that for a minute, but now, I mean, social media, I love it. I've always been a connector. I love seeing, I'm a nosy park, but I love seeing everything, you know, all gel, and I'm thinking, this is so fantastic that I can talk to you, you know, like this. I mean, I know you live nearby, but in a way, it's just like it's another realm. It's a fantastic realm. So, yeah, I think, now, how are you doing now with the lockdown? I mean, I know you've been training, and I see that you've got little Carly on the road as well, but has it really affected, I mean, I know you're also pregnant, but if you had been saying, like, the Olympics being cancelled this year, how do you think as an athlete you would have been affected if it had been particularly like an older athlete, that this might have been your last chance to compete and now you don't have that chance? Would you have been really disappointed with the lockdown, apart from you having if you not imagine, you know, if you didn't have this second bundle of joy on your way?
It's it's very tough on everybody, especially Olympic athletes, because basically they plan everything around a 4-year cycle. So this lockdown, I think, just threw everybody's plans out of the window, and it's also tough to stay motivated without having a goal. But you know, like with me, I'm always trying to look at the bright side. I think like with this lockdown, it's going to extend a lot of athletes their running career by another year or two, because they could have used this time to sort out all these running niggles and stuff, because normally everybody's battling with small kinds of injuries and stuff, and you just try to manage it just to get you to the next race, to the next race, to the next race. So I think in a way it was a good way for people just to sit back, relax, and just shift your focus. And also I think to realize what's really important in life. So I can't complain. Everything worked pretty well for me. Like it definitely has got its benefits being pregnant in lockdown. And I must say, with this first 5 weeks where we were not allowed to train, I really missed running. And afterwards, it was nice to be back out on the road. And the motivation wasn't there. You weren't pushed. You have to go and run. It was just running for the pure joy of running. And that's what I really enjoyed, especially when we were allowed to run. There's no pressure to meet times or anything. You just run because you love it.
I definitely think that a lot of people got their joy back because there was a few weeks where they couldn't. So, and I see that the Spar Ladies is having a virtual challenge, and that I must just mention, you absolutely look like you're glowing, but particularly in that advert for the Spar Virtual Challenge, because it literally is a ray of sunshine. So pregnancy obviously agrees with you. Did you struggle at all with any morning sickness or any nausea or anything like that?
I think it's all I was glowing, not really because of the pregnancy, but because of really good makeup artists and stylists.
No, I don't believe that. No.
Oh, no, definitely. And actually, I don't have any yellow in my cupboard, so I actually had to go and borrow an outfit from Christine to wear for that photo shoot. But I just love the theme of the Spar Virtual Challenge. It's like be sunshine. It's like we all need some sunshine at the moment. And sunshine is good. It gives us hope. It symbolizes growth and stuff. And I think especially at this time, we can all do with a little bit more sunshine. So I just love the theme.
So I know you mean you're still a competitor, being a mother, and I'm talking with Carly now. How has the discipline, and I know you've obviously had to rearrange, every mother that wants to be a runner has got extra things that they've got to think about and responsibilities. But how has it really affected you in the competitive? Has it changed your actual opinion towards the hunger for the win? Or, I know obviously it would change your priorities slightly, but or when you were competing before you fell pregnant now, did you still have that same kind of drive to go out there and do your best?
I think the drive will always be there, but especially now, being a mother, I think you realize what's really important in life. And we all know with running, you're only as good as your last race. But with Carly, you just feel like the world's best mother every day. So that's really something I've treasured over the past three years. It's just realizing what life is really about. But then it's also like heartwarming to see how she's enjoying to run. Yeah. I don't think she's going to be a serious runner. I think she's going to be a more social runner like her dad. Yeah. But and that doesn't matter as long as she enjoys what she does. And that's the way I want to let her grow up, for her to choose and to find her own joy. But yeah, I think especially being a professional runner, you're very selfish. It's just like what's best for me and what I need to perform and stuff. And then this small little baby comes and she just turns everything upside down. So yeah, I'm grateful for my husband Andre. He's not a morning person, so he's more than happy to babysit early in the mornings for me to go and run. And then I think it's true. It takes a whole village to grow up a child. And I'm grateful for my parents who's still there, available to babysit and never complains. And yeah, so I'm really grateful for my support system that I have.
Are you a natural morning person?
Yes, I'm a morning person and Andre is not at all, and I don't know why the two end up marrying each other, because I know there's a lot of couples like that. But yeah, at the moment I'm not complaining because that gives me the opportunity to go and run every morning.
Did the early years of Carly, when she was, did the tiredness affect you? Were you just okay? Did you manage? It didn't really affect your running as such.
I think it definitely affected me, and I think that's why it took so long to really make a comeback. Because there were some nights, and actually she's still not a great sleeper, where it's just impossible to go out to run. And also I started to work at or back then at KPMG, now at Marion Roberts, just before actually when I was pregnant. So now it's a whole new life. We need to get your priorities straight. It's not like running is the only focus at the moment. So there's a lot of morning sessions that I had to cancel, either on my sister or my training partner. It's just like, listen here, we had no sleep, I need sleep. And
Okay. Do you still have Gerry as a coach? I remember you used to train all the time. Do you still use him, or?
No, I've been training with Lindsay Perry for the past couple of years.
What is the way forward? I mean, I know you've got but have you got any big goals? Because when I said that to some of my friends, my running friends, they said, I have to ask you, are you ever going to do comrades?
I'm not sure. I think I have to run comrades somewhere in order just to be a real runner, to be seen as a real runner. But yeah, I think it's one of the things that all South Africans need to experience if they are fit and healthy and capable. So I'll definitely have to do a comrade somewhere. Andre tried to twist my arm so I run with him, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'll rather finish my race and run back to get support him.
You did an awesome 2 Oceans Ultra, and how did you find that physically on your body as compared to, you're doing your half marathons and your ordinary marathons? Was it a big adjustment, or had you trained?
After Carly, I also needed new goals, and that's the thing why I decided to run 2 Oceans, was just to have a new goal. And I really enjoyed the training because it's not so much about hitting specific times all the time. It's just basically you have to go out there and spend time on your legs. And it was a whole new world that opened up for me. It's not like when the gun goes off, you sit on your face and nobody talks to one another. So I really enjoyed that. It's like you start running and you're chatting to the person next to you, listen here, what's your goal? My goal is to run this pace and stuff. And like with 2 Oceans especially, we were a whole group of Marion Roberts girls running together, handing each other water and stuff, working together. So I must say that's the part of the ultras that I really enjoy. And if all goes well, hopefully I can run 2 Oceans again next year.
Awesome. I remember, when I used to think I was always a team player. So solo running, never, ever thought I would be social. And now that I'm not quite talking fit, I was explaining to a non-running friend, I says, my goal is to get talking fit. And she said, what do you mean? I said, look, if I can't do 5Ks and talk through it, then I'm not fit. But I didn't realize that how chatty you could be on on like 50 Ks. You know, it was quite an unusual world for me when I realized that it's quite social.
Yeah, and the vice versa for me. Like Andre says he doesn't like running with me because we don't chat. And I'm just like, I'm not used to chatting while running. And
I'm
Christine and
sure.
I will maybe chit chat for 10 minutes, but then it's all systems go. Then we focus on the run. So then there's no time for chit chatting.
So okay, as a chatter, and like Andre, what do you focus on? Like if you're running, say, because I've seen you doing training, you and Christine train in the area, and I'm thinking, you're not chatting. So are you focusing on the road? Are you focusing on your heartbeat? Where does your concentration go? Just out of curiosity for me.
And you think you're in the moment and listening to your breathing, trying to stay as comfortable as possible, and then also just maintaining your pace. And I think, especially running around in the streets in South Africa, you need to be aware the whole time of your surroundings and stuff. So yeah, I think that's basically what I'm doing. I'm just focusing, being aware of where I'm running at the moment and what's going on around me.
So you don't zoom off into, you know, races or, you know, races that you've done. You know, you're not like planning. You're kind of just staying in the moment, which is probably what all us back of the packers should be doing more, instead of talking about last year comrades and and this one and this thing. So okay,
yeah, so I think it's just focusing on your own running, and yeah, and also focusing on what's the purpose of the run. Sometimes it's just a recovery run, then you'll be more relaxed, more chatty, and sometimes, yeah, there's no time to talk or think. You're too tired to do either one of the two. So
have you ever had what's your like most memorable race experience? I mean, I know you've got like hundreds and hundreds of things to do, but is there something that really stands out, one of your like favorite race moments?
definitely running the Soweto Marathon. That was my first ever marathon, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. Running here in the township and all the people coming out to support, and watching the ladies still in their gowns coming to support, some people connecting a hose to cool you down, small kids stealing water sachets. So that was a really special race for me. And then, of course, qualifying for the Olympic Games, because that was like a lifetime dream for me. So yeah, and basically, I started dreaming of going to the Olympics after Ilana Meyer won the silver medal in Barcelona in 1992. And yeah, then 16 years later, that reality of qualifying for the Olympic Games became a reality for me.
And I mean, running in London in 2012, obviously the marathons overseas are quite different to the marathons in South Africa, but was there a lot of South Africans on the road that I mean, because London's full of South Africans, but did they support you, or was it kind of just more focused on the task at hand? Were you aware of the crowd support?
That is one of the things that I really enjoy about the marathon and the Olympic marathon, because you don't need tickets to go and support the marathon. And I was very lucky to have a lot of friends in London supporting me. Like we have had a whole renter crowd that wore Run Rene Run t-shirts. But then there was also a lot of South Africans just out there with their flags, supporting and stuff. So that was really a wonderful experience. And yeah, just before the start of the London Marathon, the Olympic Marathon, there was a huge thunderstorm. So I had so much respect for all these spectators standing in the rain supporting us. And yeah, you just get that extra oomph or energy when somebody supports you, or when you spot the South African flag.
Is there any race any marathon in particular, like overseas one, that you really still is on your bucket list kind of thing?
I think I definitely still want to do New York Marathon. I was actually thinking it would be a good this year to do the New York Marathon, because the day after the New York Marathon, I turned 40. But yeah, now all plans are out of the window. So yeah, I'm going to spend my 40th birthday highly pregnant.
When is your baby due? What date?
Mid-November, mid to end
Mid-November. Oh,
November.
well.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. So, I mean, we were on the 19th of September, I was supposed to be doing Oslo Marathon. And it was in one of those things that it was never on the bucket list. But the more I looked into it, I thought, oh, wow, you know, I think in South Africa, we're so spoilt for the amount of races that we have. We tend not to think, well, I tend not to think, obviously because of the expense, but there's a lot of races out there that are still possibly, you know, quite a different experience for us to look at. But hopefully when the lockdown lifts, if it ever lifts. So the way forward for you, I mean, do you know what gender your baby is?
Yes, and we currently is getting a baby brother.
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, wow. But I've seen that you've got her running already on the roads in the up and down the stairway, and puts all us adults to shame. Is she okay with the expectant baby? Does she understand, or is she still a little bit young?
And she definitely understands, and she also had to work through some disappointments. So at first, she was very disappointed that there's only one baby, because she wanted a brother and a sister. So she basically sulked the whole day. I think, yeah, Andre was crying tears of happiness because there was just one on the way.
Sure.
And yeah, then she was a bit disappointed that it's a brother and not a sister. But yeah, immediately she wanted to make a plan, and she said, no, we can just paint in pink. But now, yeah, she's getting used to the idea, and she's very excited for a baby brother to arrive soon.
You see, I mean, I'm not a mother, so I just get scared at the thought of having two little beings. But obviously, you know, you're well practiced at this, and you've got a good support system. But are you kind of like loosely planning when you intend to start running again after the birth, or are you just going to wait and see how everything goes?
This time around, I know more what to do, and that we need to focus, especially after birth, to get those pelvic floor muscles strong and stuff like that. So I think this time around, I know more what to expect. But I think that's the same thing that really scares us, because the first time around, you don't know nothing.
Yeah.
And
So has the pregnancy affected your hip injury? For a couple of years back, you were struggling with your hip. Is it not been putting extra pressure on your hip, or are you okay with that?
No, luckily not. And actually, I had another hip operation in Feb. But I think, yeah, once again, this pregnancy was just a blessing, just forcing myself, and even the lockdown for that 5 weeks, because the doctor gave me the green light to start training again, but that was just before lockdown. So I had to give my hip an extra 5 weeks to recover, and I think that was maybe a blessing in disguise. And yeah, I'm really grateful that I was able to train during this pregnancy. With Carly, I wasn't able to train. So now every run is just the absolute bonus. And now 26 weeks, it's not that comfortable and enjoyable anymore. But yeah, I try. Some days I can do 2Ks, other days 10 or 24K. So I think it's important at the moment not to have a goal, but just to go out there and listen to your body. And yeah.
So you're obviously a very positive person. Do you have like a life mantra that you've lived by all the time, or do you just, you know, does it change as you go along, but your positivity stays the same?
I think I'm very positive, and I always try to look at the bright side. And then, especially with disappointments that happened, I know there's a reason behind that. Like, I was absolutely devastated that I didn't make the 2016 Olympic Games, because then I'm already battled with a hip injury that basically kept me from qualifying. But yeah, then a few months later, I was pregnant with Carly, and then you just realize God has different plans, and He always knows better. So yeah, and Carly is better than any Olympic Games or even a gold medal.
I'm sure. How do you handle, I mean, if you do, I mean, I know, but how long does it take you, say, do you allow yourself the luxury of the disappointment, or do you, like, if you've not achieved the goal in a race, or, you know, how do you give yourself some time, or do you just immediately start talking, okay, like, what I'm trying to ask is, do you analyze what went wrong and then say, okay, now next plan, or do you just give yourself a little rant and then it's out of your system?
Yes, I think that's basically that. And I think it's what I've also learned over the years. It's you shouldn't let disappointments define who you are. So I allow myself to be disappointed, but like maybe like for instance when I was still running track and I had a crappy race, I would write my time or performance on a piece of toilet paper and I will flush it down the toilet. And
That's amazing. That's excellent.
and yeah, I would cry and be upset and stuff, but then the next day it's over. Then you need to focus on the positive side and look what you did wrong and focus on improving on that.
Excellent. So with you've been brand ambassador are you still brand ambassador for Modern Athlete?
I'm still writing for the column.
Okay. And then you're brand ambassador for Spar, and you're still with Marion Roberts. Is there any other, I mean, are you still with Adidas? Does Adidas still sponsor you?
Yeah, Adidas still helps me out.
That's fantastic. So how did you, I mean, I don't know anything about how elite athletes get their sponsorships. Was that like your management side, or did they approach you, or do you have to like do your own kind of pounding the pavement, so to speak?
I think you basically have to let your feet do the work, and then they will approach you.
Okay. Because I know with social media, I've got a lot of writer friends, and now they've got to kind of do their own marketing and things. And I can imagine that as an athlete, you know, you have to really, does it put pressure on you being an elite athlete with these people expecting the results from you? Does that put extra pressure, or are you able to contain it with everything else that your attitude allows?
Try to just to use it in my advantage and to see it as getting rewarded for your hard work, and not getting pressurized by that to perform better, but to use these products in order to improve and also to keep the sponsors happy.
Do you have any like mind power techniques that you use to help you, or is it just like it's naturally embedded in you, this nice discipline, this positive attitude? Do you?
I think maybe I was lucky just to be born positive, but I also think it comes from my mother. She's always the positive one, always the wise, the one you go with your problems to, and still now. She's still like 20 odd years later, the first person I call after a race, whether it goes good or bad. And she just helps me to put perspective on everything.
Fantastic. And now you're going to be the same for your children.
I hope so.
Rene, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. Thank you for letting me into your life, and thank you for letting me ask some, prying questions. And I hope that everything goes very well with the rest of your pregnancy, and we're looking forward to seeing you on the road soon.
Thanks, Cathie, and thank you for keeping Andre company on the road with the marathons and comrades and everything.
It's my pleasure. Believe me, we like to have a little chat at the back. Thanks a lot.
I don't have to do that.
No, you don't have to. Thanks. That's why I'm there. So I'm just going to...
Yes, I'm really grateful for that.